What's up, beautiful people? Today, I'm Ryan, as I am every single day, and I'm bringing you our financial update. As part of our money management plan, we keep track of our net worth over set periods, typically 1 month. Net worth being defined as assets minus liabilities. Assets meaning cash, investments, vehicles or properties, and liabilities meaning debts or large balances owed. So in this video, we're going to talk about our net worth, how it's kind of changed from the very beginning of the year, and some of the factors that went into those changes. Just so you know, I will be rounding to the nearest 100 for all of these numbers, so it's not going to be exact. We do have the dollar and cents on our spreadsheet, but for the video purposes, I don't think it adds too much, and it just makes it a little bit more murky. Just jumping right into it, we have investments at $27,900. We have cash at $23,900. We have our vehicles, we have 2 vehicles at $9,800, and that kind of closes out our overall assets column. And in the liability section, we have none. That puts our net worth at $61,600. As of January 1st of this year, 2020, our assets totaled up to $30,700. When you subtract both of those numbers, you get about $30,900 added to our net worth over the course of this 6 months. So now I'm going to go into some of the major events that have happened this year that allowed our net worth to grow by $30,000 in just 6 months, and some of the other aspects of it that are, give and take about what helped us get there, what hurt us get there, and all that fun stuff. So the first and major change to our expectations for 2020 has been the pandemic. It has destroyed all of our expectations and plans for the year. Everything just kind of got flipped over. The table is just all over the floor right now. Due to the virus, we have had all the restaurants, bars, and any other service industry in our state of Connecticut shut down for multiple months at this point. We also have a lot of restriction bans, so travels to places like Texas or Louisiana or Florida have to be really well thought out, really coordinated because of the requirements of quarantine whenever we get back. Outside the pandemic, we also had a lot of things that did change and adjust. So we did have 2 major fixes on vehicles so far this year. Sometimes older cars require you to fix one thing here, add a new tire there, and our cars are no different. In order to keep proper maintenance on the Fusion, we ended up having to change out 2 of the tires on the vehicle, as well as rotate the tires, get a new tire rod set up, and the steering was kind of messed up, as well as there was time to replace the serpentine belt. All that kind of happened in about the same week. So we fixed all the issues with the Ford Fusion. Now it's going to be running like a dream for the next 6 months. Basically, the thing I learned first is you should really be rotating your tires because it really can mess up a lot in the vehicle. If you didn't know that, you should be doing that. And if you knew that like I did and didn't do it anyway, then you should be doing that. The second thing that happened that was a major car event is we got in a little bit of a fender bender. 100% everybody walked away with no issues. We traded insurances. It was our fault. We acknowledged that. We talked to the people. Our insurance will cover them. We covered our own damages. Other than costing a lot of money, it wasn't really that big of a deal. We used part of our emergency fund in order to cover everything. It wasn't even a huge percentage of the emergency fund, but it is still enough to where we have to wait a month in order to replenish everything. As far as travel for this year, the main thing that got canceled is Easter. That canceled all hopes this year of eating any crawfish.
2020 is difficult to get through.
Right now, we still have a trip planned for the 4th of July. We're going to be going camping, and we'll see how that turns out. The next major trip is going to be Nicole's exam, which is down in Florida. So that's going to be an interesting adventure. And as far as Thanksgiving, we're not sure what we're going to be doing, but Christmas right now is planned to go down to Louisiana, so we're holding on to some cash vouchers from Easter in order to pay for those. As far as our income for the past 6 months, Nicole's has substantially dropped. This is part of her company's response due to the pandemic that we're going through. It is frustrating for her to have to do more work now for less pay over this period of time, but her company has been very transparent about the other things that they have had to do in order to stay afloat during this pandemic. Being able to work and consistently work through all of this fun stuff is a good distraction over the largest part of the week. My income has stayed relatively the same. So far, I'm a salaried employee and I am working from home pretty much 9 out of 10 days. Every 2 weeks, I will go into the office, or I will still go on a business trip, but it's only going to be a day trip for right now. And that's due to the travel restrictions that we have in multiple locations. So we did get a stimulus check this year. We got it a couple of months ago. The very first thing we did with that stimulus check was pay our taxes from the previous year. As far as our typical expenses, there's been a ridiculous drop in anything that's available to do. Restaurants, hotels, bars, anything that's a service industry or entertainment that's outside of the home has been shut down in this state for multiple months, so there's not really anything to do. So it's not really something that has impacted our budget in a negative way. We've been able to save significantly more since this pandemic has started because our expenses have dropped so much. In addition to the general expenses due to the pandemic, we've also had a large decrease in our food budget as well. So groceries, typically somewhere in the $500 and $600 range, has reduced down to $400. We're going through a lifestyle shift right now for our fitness related goals. So that is something in an update that's going to be coming in the future. Overall results in buying more meat, buying no alcohol, and reducing a lot of the other typical expenses that you'd have just in a pantry. Another major difference to our budget is the amount of trips that I take. Going back and forth to work is no longer inside the budget. We've come down from about $250 in gasoline per month on the regular to somewhere around $100. I was traveling back and forth just to get to work. I'm still doing, every once in a while, going into work, doing business trips down to New York or over to the Boston area, but it's on such a smaller scale that $30 gets me wherever I need to go. But either way, half of our auto gas expenses are gone. It's been a significant savings for us. As far as the overall plan for 2020, we also plan to have a lot of weekend trips to various locations in the Northeast area, but a lot of those got canceled. We planned on going skiing, canceled. We planned on going over to Maine for an art festival, canceled. We planned on enjoying seafood in Rhode Island, canceled. A lot of things that we planned on purchasing this year are 100% not happening because of the pandemic. Those expenses all also go towards savings. And the last major category that is savings is our gym. Doesn't allow people inside of it right now. They just reopened, so that expense will be coming back into our budget, but those couple $100s that we saved over the past couple months have been going towards savings. Some of the bigger expenses that have popped up due to the pandemic or being home more would be, we bought a TV. Our TV downstairs used to be a 32-inch. We decided we wanted to upgrade to a 48-inch, but then looking at some of the prices and how they compare to larger TVs, and there's not really a huge gap in between $30 and $50 when you're talking about a $230 item versus a $280 item. It doesn't really matter for the amount of screen width you get. We ended up with a 52-inch TV downstairs. It's really awesome. Beautiful picture, 4K, it does everything we need to. We've also increased the amount of projects that we're engaging with this year. So far I've done the workbench, we've purchased a lot of silicone, now resin. So we're looking at putting money towards those things, as well as some other projects and tools that I've been really interested in getting. So getting into the funner side of this, at the beginning of the year, we had an investment goal of maxing out 2 Roth IRAs, one for me and one for Nicole, through our company's 401k programs. Maxing out our 401ks will allow us to capture the employee match as well. Investment-wise, since Nicole's income has dropped, the amount of money going towards her 401k is based off of a percentage. So since it's based off a percentage, it's less than what we calculate at the beginning of the year, so we would need to increase that in order to hit that goal for this year. So far we haven't done that. Maybe at the end of the year when we're reassessing how the year went, we're gonna go ahead and keep those funds coming towards us instead of going towards the investment account in order to allow some stability with our personal budgets. The other major thing that really needs to factor in with these investment goals is the large market swings that we've been seeing due to the unstable nature of our economy right now. I won't get into the generalizations and the expectations and predictions
And all this fun stuff that goes on with the people who like making finance videos.
I can only assess what's going on with my personal account, so this is not actually investment advice. I actually don't necessarily recommend it. But we ended up getting a phishing story over the past couple of months. At the end of February, we initiated a process called a 401k rollover. That is basically when you take a previous employer's 401k account and you roll that over into an IRA. Since we initiated that process at the end of February, right before the market started crashing, we effectively locked in our gains. Since we locked in that amount of money at that time, and the rollover process it took about 3.5 weeks in order to completely finish. We ended up getting back in the market at about the right time to hit all of the ride up and none of the ride down. So there was a significant gain based off of that in the amount of single-digit $1,000s. And it was really awesome to see. I can't really suggest anybody try and time the market in this fashion. We didn't even try to do it. It was mostly actually all dumb luck, 100% dumb luck. So please do not try and time the market. That's not what we're insinuating at all. It's not a suggestion in any form to time the market, but it's a fun fishing story of how we got all of these gains. So as of right now, we're going to keep the same investment profile. That means I will hit the 401k Roth max out, and Nicole will nearly hit that, and we'll reassess at the end of the year how much we're missing in order to place that towards the end goal. The other large investment goal was a down payment on a home. So we were looking at about $36,000 put away over the course of 2 years in order to get to a house. We are still working on that goal, but there's going to be some changes to it this year. There's a couple things that went into this decision, which I'll probably make another video on in the future, but we decided to decrease from the $36,000 down to $26,000. And there's some reasoning behind the number, and we'll get into that in another video, but just know that the overall savings goal is now lower, which means we expect to hit that savings goal a lot sooner. In addition to the house down payment account, which we're working on, we also have to replenish our emergency fund after the fender bender that we had with the Fusion. So that should be done in about a month or 2 months, depending on how July looks, which right now, it's a little busy, but right now that's pretty much it for this video. Do you have any suggestions that we can consider adding to our plan? And let me know what your plan is for 2020. How you doing? You doing all right? Are you doing all right? Are any of us doing all right? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell to get all the notifications about our fitness, finance, and family-centered goals. I've been Ryan. You've been awesome. Bye. Damn, that's a lot. That's a lot. Thank you so much for Ryan. I've been Ryan.